Remember, the core personality of We the Women is pretty much this: passionate, compassionate, and stubborn. And God, are we stubborn, and God, are we unapologetic. And talking about unapologetic, I am now very pleased to introduce somebody who's a great star, a great friend, and what I love best about her is that she's absolutely bloody unapologetic. Let's welcome to We the Women, Kareena Kapoor Khan. Let's bring her up now. And Kareena, I know everybody's been waiting like for hours for this session. And if there was one word I had to use to describe you, it would be unapologetic. You're the original Punjabi badass, and I love that about you. Were you always this unapologetic, and how much trouble does it get you into? And on this program today, you're going to tell me what kind of trouble it's got you into.
Well, Barkha, thank you for having me firstly. And I think that everyone who knows me knows the kind of person that I am. It's more than even my voice. I think my expression when I don't agree with something, it just kind of, it's just all over my face. I think I was like this since, I think I can remember since the age of 10, I mean, I was always the one to argue and rebel against my parents. I was always fighting with my mother. I was always kind of wanting to be heard, basically, that kind of a girl, since I was a child. And I never really thought that would it get me to trouble or, what it would when I joined the industry also. I mean, everyone would be like, if you're diplomatic and if you kind of answer correctly and be politically correct, it'll take you places. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. So then probably I won't get to go places, but I can't be fake. And I'm going to be what I can and as honest as I can,
Yeah.
So I think it took time for my parents also to kind of adjust to that, because dad would also always tell me कि बहुत बोलती है, इतने बोलने की क्या जरूरत है तुम्हें? तो I was like, but मैंने कुछ गलत तो नहीं बोला ना? I mean, like, I'm just stating a fact. Because in my interviews, I think they'd maybe found me a little brash or brazen or I don't know what, they were different. And then sometimes, in the film industry, things are misconstrued and, you kind of, they add masala laga ke kuch bol dete. So that also I have gone through. And that has really been, traumatic journey for me, clarifying those things in my early stages of my career.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing that I regret, that sometimes I'm misunderstood.
So I'll tell you one thing, because I'm a little bit like you in being what in Punjabi they say muh phat. I'm a muh phat. जो मेरे दिमाग में आया मैं बोल दिया, ज़्यादा नहीं सोचती, उसके बाद सोचती हूँ अरे क्या बोल दिया. So I get what you mean, but take us back. When you say you were arguing with your parents, you were arguing with mom. What were the arguments about? Like, what were you rebelling against? You were also from this cult Kapoor Khandan, and there would have been a certain expectation of who you were expected to be. So, किस तरह के झगड़े होते थे?
झगड़े होते थे because I think Barkha, I also grew up quite fast because like I would see my sister. She joined movies and did her first movie at 14. So I'm 6 years younger. So I had probably seen a lot. Happen at an early stage also, and I think I was very eager to kind of grow up. I wanted to do everything that Karishma was doing because obviously, she was somebody that I looked up to. So whether it was, acting in movies or, going out or, when she was just finished kind of school and was going into college before she signed her first film only, she would go out and mom would allow her to kind of, go out with a few boys. And at that time, I would be like, even I want to go. And mom would be like...
I love that photograph, by the way. Can you see that picture? I don't know if we can loop it again, but there's like the two of you sitting there licking those ice cream cones or bars or whatever. Like, that's such a fab picture.
It was one of our cousins' birthdays that we were there at that. So as you can see, it's always that I wanted to always do what Karishma is doing, So whether it was always and I was a rebel a little bit, I was always hanging with the boys. I was not mainly hanging with all the girls and kind of doing the girly things. So mom was always like, what is the rush? What is the reason? Why are you, so she would yell and we would get into these arguments. And, but yeah, I mean, I think, I learned a time and she actually had to send me to boarding school because then I was obviously getting a bit too naughty and a bit too rebellious. So I was sent to Dehradun to study.
How was that?
And
How was
that
that
was
experience?
I think it was brilliant. The kind of exposure and freedom and independence that I learned there, I think kind of also grounded me a lot for the film industry in a way, because there you're absolutely alone, you're thrown over there, you have to take your decisions, you have to follow by certain rules, and you have to, figure it out in your own way. There's no mom and dad or any sort of, buddy kind of covering for you also. Even though I wasn't that kind of a girl, so I was, very comfortable in boarding school and I loved it. I actually was crying when I was leaving, and it's a brilliant school, Welham Girls. And it so happened that just then, now in this pandemic, I've connected with most of my Welham friends from all over the world. I think it's because of this lockdown. So and when you talk to them, I mean, I feel like I'm the same person. I don't think like I'm an actor or like, I just start off like there. I'm that young schoolgirl in that tadpole uniform, I mean, I still feel that. So I think that kind of prepared me for the big bad world of movies also in a strange way, just living alone, sleeping at night, not knowing what it's going to be like. I think it kind of made me that. I was ready when I came back, like, this is it.
Yeah. What was firstly on school and college friends, like I always say, like those friends who kind of know people before they were famous, they're the ones who keep us real, right? Like, I think that's so important. But what was the naughtiest, most rebellious thing you did as a child? Like, what did you do that you got banished to boarding school?
So, I don't know. I don't know how politically correct this sounds, but I was around 14, 15 in my teens, and and I really liked this boy, and my mother was like, obviously was upset about it, and like, being a single mother, she was like, this is not going to happen, and so she used to lock the phone. In those days, she used to have those phones, phone cutting. She used to put a number on it, lock the phone, and went and put it into her room, and locked the room. So I obviously wanted to go out with my friends and meet this particular guy. So mom had gone out for dinner. I have managed to break the lock with an actual, like a locksmith with a knife, broken the lock, gone into the room, bashed the phone off, taken the phone, made plans, and run away from the house. So it was that bad. But now it might get
I love it.
Mom might just be like, oh my God.
I love the story. Now, what I want to know is, where is this boy now?
Well,
Is he a friend, or do you look back at it and say, oh my God, how did I like that dumb boy?
No, he's actually now also my mom's very close friend. Can you believe it?
That's a funny ending to the story, right?
Yes. Can you see the irony? My mom actually like loves him now. And that's one thing that I look at my mom and I'm like, how did this, like, what is this? Like, how, when, why? So I think that, it kind of, it's just that we're all friends now. Saif is also friendly. We all know each other. So I think that's somewhere it's a kind of a happy ending kind of thing to it.
Yeah. Now, you obviously, in your own way, continue to be quite rebellious, right? As I was saying, you come from this sort of cult Kapoor Khandan, and there was once a sort of narrative that women of the Kapoor house don't work after they get married. Not just if you continue to work after marriage, you've continued to work through your pregnancy. I was looking at the baby bump pictures of yours on Instagram, and I know you've been working through, because I've been a guest on your podcast, What Women Want, and that's what we're calling this panel as well. How did you break those stereotypes? There was a time when people would think of Kareena Kapoor and probably not know you and slot you as a kind of conservative female actor. You've broken so many rules. How tough? Let's start with the first one. How tough was it for you to convince your family that you were going to pretty much work right after marriage and basically right up until the point that you want to?
I think all that groundwork was done by Karishma a lot, because she was actually the first one to kind of get into movies, being a Kapoor girl kind of thing. I
Yeah.
obviously followed suit after that, but in a very different career path to hers. Um, After marriage, I think my parents, after they saw the way I'm passionate about my career, the way I handled certain roles, the way I took up certain projects, I think my parents started believing in me that, okay, I think she kind of knows what she's doing and what she wants, and she's not going to, hold back. And when I actually decided to get married, that was the first thing that I told Seth, that, I mean, I want to have a family, I want to be a wife, I want to be a mother someday. But, I also want to, continue acting, continue pursuing my career. And I think
Yeah.
he was like, I didn't even ask you. It's a thing that, I mean, it doesn't bother me because my mother was a working mother and I would love for you to
Yeah.
work. I would not expect you to sacrifice anything otherwise. So I think that kind of cemented our bond together. And when, my parents were told that we were getting married and that he was very happy if I worked, I think they were like, okay, but I mean, my father was like, you're in his jurisdiction now. If this is what he wishes, if you can do it, please go ahead. And I got married on the 16th of October, and on the 21st of October, I returned back to set.
Good for you. But tell me something. If suppose could you love a man who had conditions and requirements of you? Like I just think I could not date a man who ever told me you can do this and you can't do this or ye karo or wo karo. Matlab, for me the romance would end right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would be even talking to a man like that, because the reason being that
Exactly.
we would not be able to connect on any sort of level, because we're different, we think differently. If he thought me that I should be, at home or, in the kitchen or, that I have to fill in that particular gap. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even be entertaining him. I wouldn't even be we would be, probably in the same room because we're not like minded people. I wouldn't respect somebody like that. So I think love is a very far off thing, because respect is so important. The idea is that Saif respects me for what I am, for what I say, for what I do. I represent a certain kind of woman, and I think he respects me for that. And because of that, I love him dearly. So respect in a relationship of any form or kind is, of utmost importance to me.
Yeah. How have you dealt with the crazy, demented media scrutiny on not you as an actor, but on Taimur, on now your pregnancy? I mean, it is insane. I don't understand it. I'm a journalist. I think I get media, but I cannot understand it. They're obsessed with what you named him. First, they judge you for naming him Taimur, then they stalk you everywhere. I mean, it pagalpan beyond description. How have you coped with it? Was there a time when you were just appalled? Like, just take me through what this has been like for you.
Um, it's actually, it's been it's been overwhelming for both Seth and me, but I think we have kind of really held it together, like right from the time Taimur was born. Firstly, what happened about his name was just ghastly,
Yeah.
and it was something
Disgusting.
that
Just
I would
disgusting.
never, and I will never forget it. And it's obviously scarred me deeply as a person and
Yeah.
as a mother, because what I name my child, what I call him, is completely my discretion and of nobody
Yeah.
else's concern.
Yeah.
So it started on that note, and then obviously what he looks like, what he's doing, where he's going, the most photographed baby, so and so. And I mean, obviously, I was just like, what is going on? And why is this happening to this, 2-month-old baby who barely opened his eyes?
Yeah.
When I was in hospital, actually, obviously, I wouldn't name a famous personality, but there was a famous personality who actually had the gall to come into the hospital at that time and actually, on the pretext of visiting me and the baby, actually come up to me and in conversation of, obviously saying congratulations and saying that, like, what's with you? Why would you name your son Taimur? And I was
What?
like, and I had delivered like it hadn't even been 8 hours, and I was like, I literally started crying, and that person was asked to leave. So my journey with that started then, where I just made up my mind and I said, this is my boy, this is my son. I don't care what happens. As long as he's happy and he's healthy and we're happy, that's it. I'm just going to go home and just go ahead and go away with this thought. I don't want to know anything else, what people's trolling or what's happening. And I think we've taken
did this person explain to you why he thought you were mad? I mean, what did this person say? And are you not going to tell us who this annoying, disgusting person is?
I know I wouldn't want to, because now it's also, I've let bygones be bygones, but also because, there's so much history there, like, going into like what happened, like bloody 100-200 साल पहले क्या हुआ था, 300 साल पहले अभी किसने देखा, and how do you know I've named him like that? We've named him because of his meaning, and we like the sound of the name. I mean, it's up to the parents. It has nothing to do with anything that happened. I'm sorry to say, but tomorrow anything might happen. A rapist's name might be anything else, but that doesn't make all the Sureshes a rapist, does it?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. So why are we kind of using the same comparison of things? It's just what we liked. But I think we've come to terms with it. We've come to understand that probably this is the love that people are showering on him. So be it. And I know he's a blessed boy, but we just want him to just grow normally. Yeah. I just want him to just be like, just play down like he is. Like he'd go down, go on his bike cycling down now in the building. That's what we all did when we grew up. We're all grown up in compounds, of our buildings. That's a very Bombay culture, and that's the way we've all grown up. I want him to do that. I don't want him to grow up like, knowing that his parents, of course he knows that his parents are celebrities. Like yesterday he got clicked, day before yesterday, and he was screaming no photographs. Now I think he's also like a bit overwhelmed with the whole thing.
Yeah. But you said it scarred you. When it first started, this nonsense about why did you name Taimur? How did you process it? Did you see it as an sort of an anti-Muslim thing? Did you just see it as paparazzi gone mad? Did you just see it as trolling? And, how did you process it and get past it? And how, in what way did it change you and scar you and hurt you?
I mean, I think it's just as in a simple way of like, like obviously the trolls just went mad that, why would they name him after a conqueror, and he was a lame conqueror, his name was Tamerlane, and his name was, they started getting into the, bifurcation ke kya karta tha Taimur, kya karta tha, 300 years pehle. Now whether, honestly, whether it's a Hindu name or a Muslim name, it's a name that we liked, I mean, Saif is a Muslim name. So, how does it matter? I mean, I don't know. I like the name. It could be anything. Alexa, Alexandra, anything. Why can't I name my child what I want to? And so what if a warrior was named 300 years ago? I mean, that's okay. And I'm sure after that there have been hundreds of Taimurs. And by the way, Taimur also means iron. Its basic meaning is that, strength and somebody who's very strong. And that's what I liked. So, caste, creed, or religion, honestly, it doesn't feature in our scheme of things. That was the last thing that one thinks of. And both...
No, I mean, I need no convincing. I'm totally on your side on this. I think it was disgusting, absolutely appalling what you guys went through. And, when people do celebrity bashing, I think we forget the kind of scrutiny that you guys live under. And it's just awful when you extend that to a baby boy, right?
Barely opened his eyes, yeah.
Awful. Now, What Women Want is the name of a show you host. I've had the good fun to be part of it. What does Kareena want? Do you have everything that you want? Nobody ever has everything that they want. Otherwise, life would be really boring. Every day is a new set of dreams and aspirations. I know that you're about to sort of deliver your second baby. But beyond that, what are you dreaming of? What are you hoping to still do that you haven't done? When you're tossing and turning at night, what do you think of?
think that, I'm happy that as a woman, I'm loved and respected. I hope for a better tomorrow for my children. I want them to live in a safe place. I want them to live happily. I want them to live without judgment. These are things that I always think of, that I don't want a, any sort of uneasiness or unpleasantness to shake my family and my beliefs, and the way I'm bringing up my children. That's what I want. I hope, I just want them to be free. I want them to be happy, and I want them to be known as good human beings. That's what I always think of, and no form of that, okay, so and so is a star child, or so and so is coming from this family. I'm like, I don't want any tags or any names. I want you to look at us, also us stars, as normal people, and the two children as normal kind of people. Get to know them. That's all, and I hope that can happen, more than anything else.
Now, you spoke about like being the daughter of a single mom, like effectively your mother bringing the two of you up. What was that like? How did that shape your experience and your relationship with your father? What did that do to your notion of family? And how tough was it for your mother? And what happens is that sometimes we are angrier with the parent that we are closer to, who we spend more time with, and we forgive the parent who is less around. So did that happen with you?
So interesting, nice question, because yes, my mother is my best friend, but I adore my father because I respect and love him a lot. He's in a strange way not very in your face, because he's somebody who's always also chosen to be at the back. He's not somebody who's commanding the attention and wants that. He's silently always there for us, and I know it. And my parents have a lovely relationship, because sometimes two people realize that their lives aren't exactly going the way they planned, so it's better that we kind of don't stay together, but we can still be friends and stay in touch, and still take decisions sometimes about the kids.
Yeah.
It's not necessary that they have to possibly be staying under the same roof, or being there
Sure.
24/7 together. So I think both Karishma and me understood that at a very early age, that this kind of relationship can exist as well, and it has existed for almost 35 years with my parents. And I see them that in times when they need to come together, they're always together, but they obviously prefer to just have their day-to-day lives separately, which is wonderful. But yeah, and my mother is a driving force. Yeah, she's been there like all the time for me and Lolo. She's the the sun behind everything. She rises, we rise. If she falls, we kind of fall. It's like that. She is our backbone, because that's just the way we've been, three women living together under one particular roof. And yeah, so I can't imagine a life without her, decisions without her. But also, I have to say that my parents are really they move with the times. They've kept up with everything. Like they've kind of they give us our space. They allow us our decisions. They allow us to take our decisions. So it's not like she gives her opinion and she'll be like, this is what I think. She's very clear. She's like, this is the life you've chosen, whatever you wish. Now you have to follow it on, see the consequences, decide what you want to do, everything. They're very cosmopolitan, very easygoing. And I kind of love the fact that my parents have evolved with their children. They've let us grow, and I think the reason I am where I am, and we're having this chat, is also a lot to do with my mother and my father.
It's so interesting that you talk. Yeah, I get it. And it's so interesting that you talk about the unconventional sort of relationship that can exist between people. I always feel like there's so many relationships in our life that don't have a name, right? So your parents may have started off in this nomenclature of marriage in a conventional way and then moved into a different kind of relationship which still remains very close and connected. And there's so many different ways that modern love expresses itself, that the modern family expresses itself, isn't there?
But we love to give names. We love to kind of just, have
Box
everything has
it
to have a naam hona chahiye end mein ki this is what it is or that so I don't know, but like I said, my parents have been very, very modern. They've been very evolved. They've they've figured it out, and that's why both Karishma and me are the way we are, because we're loving, respectful, and I think our parents have given us that. At an early
Yeah.
age, they made us understand. And, parents come from a different time also, no? So it's so important, but for them to
Yeah.
keep up with us
Yeah.
just makes for a better
So
home,
let's
a
talk.
better place.
Yeah, I think it's fabulous, and I'm a passionate believer in relationships without a name. Like, I just think that so many deepest connections of our lives don't actually fit into like neat nomenclatures. I I want to ask you about how you think you have changed from the time that you became an actor to where you are now. Have you changed your mind about key things? Were there roles you would have done before that you wouldn't do today? As you evolve, you spoke about your parents evolving with time. I can feel your own evolution. I can feel the changes in you as somebody who's sort of seen you and known you over a few years. So I want you to talk a little bit about. Let's start with roles. Are there roles that you would have done a decade ago that you wouldn't touch today?
Um, no,
Not really.
I don't know. Probably wouldn't do roles that I've done before, only because um, I don't want to kind of do the same kind of thing. But I don't think, I think I'm pretty much an actor who is open to any kind of role, like I mean, it's not like if I'm going to play a villain in a movie, I'm a villain in real life, so
Sure.
I'm not that kind of an actor who's like, because I'm an actress and I'm a commercial actress, I must be only doing a certain kind of role. I'm pretty open to also doing, different kind of roles, and I kind of did that at a very early age anyway, with films like Chameli and Dev. So I
Yeah.
don't want to be in any box, I want to be like, I want to, my path should be, it's open. I'll do any sort of role that I think is, I can nail the part.
Yeah. Do you feel today more empowered to say I should be paid this much? This equal pay for equal work. Every woman I speak to in your industry has a very different take on it, right? And I'm really confused because some of you say when we can sell the movie on our own strength. Some of you say it's high time. Sonam Kapoor on We the Women told me that she walked out of a movie once because the movie makers refused to pay her as much as her male co-star in that movie, and she thought that it was an absolute insult. So how do you see the equal pay for equal work debate in your industry?
If it's equal pay and equal pay parity, then if an actor is getting paid 100 crores, the actress has to get paid 100 crores as well, right? That's the debate, no?
Yeah,
But then
that is the debate.
then the budget of the film is going to go to 400 crores. So then we have to make
Right.
those kind of movies where, like everyone's kind of sharing the burden. But I don't think that is possible in India, where you make, an Avengers is made also once in a year, once in 2 years, 3 years. Here, I mean, the kind of budgets, how does it happen? When you're doing a heroine oriented film, then the budget is also limited. वो 10-15
But
crore की
why?
film है.
But क्यों? क्यों? क्यों?
I think that the reason being that, like, because if you're making a big budget film, you know that the actor's going to take home 150 crores. They're not going to leave anything for the female star. The only way this
Yeah,
can
but
be
isn't that
solved
bugging? Like,
is,
shouldn't men start saying we lead by example and we don't need
The only
this
thing
mad
that can
giant.
happen is that the men have to then take a pay cut. And men have to decide, there has to be a benchmark. Okay, the actor gets this much. So that there's enough room when you're taking a female star who you need in a film, that she's going to take this much. So it has to be divided in that way. Because right now it's divided where 90% is the actors and 10% is the actress. So we need the actors also. So this question must be asked to the actors also, if they are also ready to take that kind of a pay cut.
And if they're not,
If they're not, then that's what I'm saying. Then we have to put our foot down and decide that, do we want to be a part of that film? Do we want to take a stand against the fact that, I still want to do the film because it's a big film? So there are films that I have left because I have not been comfortable with what I've got paid. But there are actresses who do films for less because they feel that it'll further their career. It depends on what stage of your career and your mind space you're in. So the mind
but
space
these
that I am in,
films,
like, I'm
yeah,
not, I don't want to compromise on anything. I
yeah, but
wanted.
these films that you walked out on, have you walked out on them because you don't think you're getting the money that your talent is worth? Or is it a relative thing, like that the guy is getting so much more and I'm as much of a star as him, so why am I not getting somewhere that is proportionate to what he's getting?
Yeah, exactly. There should be some sort of, it can't be, 80-20. We have to find a balance, between, I think, actors. And there has to be unity amongst actors itself in the industry, because it's easy to sit and discuss, like we are, and everyone will say, but, to actually act upon it, take a stand, or to, be unified and take a decision amongst actors that, okay, this is what's going to happen. And, if I may say, it's, of course, female pay parity ki difference to hai hi, but I'm saying even script writers and technicians who are working on the film don't get paid as much. And when actually they are the backbone to a film. I mean, today nothing is bigger, script is king. So, in that sense, and that there has to be unity amongst everyone in each department.
Yeah. So how do you see this sort of getting resolved? And there are other kinds of disparities, right? Let's look at ageism. So, men seem to be able to play heroes well into their 50s and nobody says anything. And women, this has not happened with you and it's not happened with one or two others, but it's mostly happened to almost everybody else, that women on the same age graph, on the same age curve, start losing roles. They're expected to then play other kinds of roles. They're robbed of their sexuality. They're always asked to play like aunts and sisters and, some supporting role, like you hit 50 and you stop having sex or something. I mean, there's just so many assumptions about women, right? So, how do you look at this ageism, this awful ageism of your industry, as applied to women compared to men?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they think that men don't age and women age. I don't understand, because according to me, you're as old as you look. I'm 40 today. Maybe I don't look. I don't think I look 40. So I mean, if I am not looking 40, I should. Why am I being judged that just because I'm 40, I shouldn't be working?
But I am saying, if you're 40, it's not like you can't fall in love, you can't have sex, you can't dance, you can't, let yourself go. 40 is the new 20. Yeah, come on.
I think in certain films, they have that. Certain films are made where they're like, me, a younger heroine le lete, because then the hero tends to look younger. I don't know, but that is the logic. Even I don't understand.
But Amir, Shah Rukh, Salman, Akshay can be young forever, is it?
Because I don't know how. Though, I have worked with Akshay now in Good News. Just right now, that was his, in fact, last release. I'm working with Amir now. So, I think a few actors who dare to be different and who want to pull up that and say that, no, this is it. Like in Good News, we were playing, our age. We were a married couple and it was a comedy commercial film. In Lal Singh Chadda, in fact, it's Forrest Gump. So I'm playing younger to older. So, actors also have to have the belief in us actresses and kind of take that plunge and say, okay, fine, we're going to do it. And I think now, I think they are kind of changing. Of course, there is a certain section that still wants that, you know, young, taut body, 20-year-old, 25-year-old. I think it's film to film, you know. But I'm
Yeah, but
hoping
there was a
that
good comment. There was a good comment on the screen. There was a good comment, and I agree with it. If we can bring it back, even if you're 40, why should anyone judge you and slot you into roles? We need to shift mindsets.
but we need to. I am trying my best to shift mindsets, but you know, I think the directors and the producers who are putting in the money should also know that, you know, I mean, people want to see us, whether we're 40 or 50, they want to see us also. You know, if they want to see the older actors, they do want to see us also. So I think they just have to have a lot more faith, you know,
Yeah.
in people like us.
Now, obviously, you have had a certain degree of cushioning because of who you are, because of the family you come from. But have there been moments when you have felt that if I weren't a woman, I would be treated differently? If I weren't female, this would not be happening to me. You know, have you had those moments? Like, what has it been like to be a woman in this industry, even with all your privileges and your background? What role has gender played? Has your experience been gendered? Let's say take you and Saif, for example. Both of you are children of actors. Has his experience as a man been different from your experience as a woman?
I think Saif's also had his fair share of struggle. You know, I mean, I think he also struggled quite a bit in this industry to make his footing.
Yeah.
I think almost 15, 20 years. He had to
Yeah.
also break a lot of, you know, what people had against, you know, that, oh, his voice is like this, or he looks like this, or this is the way he is, or this is the way he performs. I think he's broken all those barriers, you know, and kind of come out shining. But you know, my experience in this industry is because I have been the same from the word go. I'm always, this is the way I want it, this is the way I'm not. And I think it has nothing to do with the fact that, okay, I do come from this film family, but I have
Yeah.
never ever connected my family to my career. I'm not. Because I'm just like, when I'm
Explain that. Explain
I
that.
do.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean that you've never connected your family? Even if you don't connect your family, everybody else is connecting your family to you, right?
And they have assumptions. But even if I was anyone else and I didn't have the Kapoor name, I would have still taken the decisions that I did. If I don't agree upon something, I make it very clear to the producer or the director. And I have no apprehensions about or fear about sharing my thoughts. That, you know, this is the way I like it, or this is the way I don't want to do this. And I'm somebody, like I said, you know, if I speak my mind, there are people. I mean, I've always been heard. I mean, I want my voice to be heard. That's it. You know, the way it is. So it has nothing to do with because I can or because I come from this family. It's because I do. You have to have, in this industry, you have to have the gumption to push for what you want. If you
Yeah.
allow people to take you for granted, it happens. But you have to just have the gumption to say, नहीं ये नहीं करना है. जैसे आप बोल रहे हो कि there is a film being made, and in a big film, it's my decision if I want to be a part of the film or not. But if I feel I don't want to be a part of it, and if you feel your role isn't good, then don't do it. Why have that fear that if I say no, tomorrow that actor might not work with me, tomorrow that producer might not work with me? I think people start thinking like that in fear. कि आगे जाके
Yeah.
काम नहीं मिलेगा. So I think that all these things, we should not think about all those things. If we stick firmly to our decision, we are heard.
Do you think about that sometimes? You know, I remember I was interviewing Amitabh Bachchan once, and according to me, he's the most difficult person to interview because he never lets his mask down. So it's very difficult to get anything like that is not an actor's rehearsed sentence from him. But then I asked him, I said, you know, what do you fear? And he said, I fear that I'll walk into a restaurant one day in my 70s and nobody will recognize me. And I was like, come on, you're joking. Like, how can that happen to you? And he said, no, I do fear that one day nobody will recognize me. So I mean, you're not anywhere near that point of life. But do you worry sometimes that as I grow older, as a woman in this industry, you know, maybe they won't give me work. What will I do then? Or do you have another sort of take on it? And there is also an added question. Sorry, can you bring it back, that question? It, what does Kareena have to say on misogynistic films and sexist films? Some would say they're just movies, but I believe actors are looked up to, and what they do and what kind of cinema they choose is very important. And that's what I was asking you earlier, that are there some kind of roles you wouldn't do? And I get what you mean. I get what you mean when you say, I'm an actor. I can play someone really sexist and awful on screen. That doesn't make me that. That's an acting challenge. But there is also a certain kind of politics of representation, the way an item number is shot, the way a camera moves up a heroine's sort of navel. There are many different ways in which women are presented. So I want you to think about that. And also, do you fear sometimes not getting roles as the years go on?
I don't fear not getting roles, because I think of course my career is everything to me, but I'm not thinking that, okay, what if nobody recognizes me, or what if I don't have work. I'm always grateful and thankful for what I have, and I believe in myself. I believe in the power that is me, which is within me. That I know that this is what I can do and what I will continue doing and what I want to do. And that's why even now, if it comes to the fact of what kind of films I want to do, earlier on, like I said, that you asked me, yeah, I agree. Item numbers and things like that. There has been a huge debate on this.
Yeah.
kya hai, kya nahi hai. So it's even I don't know, because the fact is that people are watching it, Barkha. I don't know how to. Then people should not watch that. There has to be something in tandem. I might not do it anymore. I have done it, and I'm very proud of that also. And the films went on to be huge successes. The songs went on to be huge successes. Now I might not do that. I might think about it. But the fact is that people are rushing to go and see that. Why is that happening then? So mindset हमारी भी नहीं बदलनी चाहिए, mindset लोगों की भी तो बदलनी चाहिए.
It's complicated. It's damn complicated, right? Because at one level, I feel like it's your choice. One, as a woman, I feel it's your choice. Secondly, I feel that women should be able to express their sexuality, but there is also hypersexualization, like some of these item numbers. Then you see, a 5-year-old girl sort of sexualizing. You see little girls being sexualized by this culture of. Also the social media that we live in, where everyone's bloody pouting and to camera in a goofy way.
Have songs where young 5-6-year-old girls are emulating those songs, whether it's Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, whatever it is. So वहाँ भी होता है. यहाँ भी होता है, and we're always trying to.
हर जगह होता है ये यहाँ की. In fact, that comment, there's another comment on our screen that's saying it's a cycle, right? So we don't know whether the audience comes first or the movie comes first. It's cyclical. Sexist films lead to sexist mindsets. Sexist mindsets lead to sexist films. So it's complicated.
That's what I'm saying. It's going in tandem. One doesn't know, how what we're supposed to actually do. Of course, one can choose that this is what maybe I don't want to do anymore. Like an item number or something. Maybe I won't. I'll think about it. Earlier, before Taimur, maybe I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's fun. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy doing all the songs and stuff like that. Now, maybe like you asked me, a second thought, yes, would come into my mind.
Yeah. You think twice about doing an item number as such as it's classified.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So I want to ask you something which is not necessarily how you play a role, but the time when there was this crazy attention on size 0 and Kareena Kapoor, right? And I ask you this because you're the same Kareena who will pose quite happily, n number of months pregnant, happily waddling on whatever podcast set that you've been doing. Like you have absolutely no self-consciousness to no body issues clearly. But Rujuta, who's a friend of mine also, your nutritionist, she famously made Kareena Kapoor, there you are, size 0. And Rujuta wants us to give up wine, coffee. मैं तो उसे I've never, she's a pal of mine. मैं उसको तंग करने के लिए रोज ट्विटर पे लिखती हूँ, today I had red wine, today I had coffee, today I had chips, today I had french fries, and I don't care. I just bug her. But this the politics of weight in women, you know. Here are you not giving a shit, and then there were you being size zero, Kareena. That journey. Why did you need to be size zero?
So that was for a particular part that I did, like how it was more like a challenge, because when I signed the film, the director and producer were like, we have to take on this challenge, and the fact is that, we want to see you as a new Kareena. This girl has to be, like she's like the hero of the film, so it should be like, she's ripped, she has this, she's going to take revenge of her father's death, she's going to have all of that, So I was like, yeah, why not take up the challenge and transform my body? It'll be interesting to see, if I can do that for a role. So it was only for that particular part that I had done that. I mean, I can't be like that because I'm a growing Punjabi. I'm still a growing girl.
I love that. This is me. I am forever a growing Punjabi. I forever need to be fed. I used to have a t-shirt. I used to have a t-shirt in journalism school, and it said, I write for food. That's it. I write for food.
Yeah, I need that. So I've come to terms with that. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I have the energy to work at 7.5 months pregnant. Thankfully, with my doctor's grace and following certain rules. Yes, so that is what my benchmark is. But weight is like now it's become a topic that's just annoying now. It's just like, guys, please,
get a life. Get a bloody life.
Yeah, don't lose your mind, lose your weight. Be healthy, be fit, but this constant need of wanting to look like someone else now, na? That is what is, wo nahi hona chahiye, yaar. And that's why, look at me, I'm literally waddling like around. Like my own parents are telling me that you're waddling around. I said, yeah, but so what, na? It's okay. I can walk, na? I can still walk and I can still work. So, bas, kya hai? Let them see.
Waddle to work. Yeah, waddle to work is a new variation of work from home. Waddle to work.
Waddle to work.
Yes. I like this waddle to work. Couple of interesting questions for you on our stream. One on postpartum. Okay, can we just go back to 2 questions before? There's an interesting question about whether you worry. Earlier they used to say after marriage, do women get roles? Do women get to work? Sorry, the question before that, I want to ask this also. Does postpartum pressure affect your sexualization on screen? Like, you worry, I'm now a mom, am I going to be cast in certain roles? It's an interesting question, right? Because women go through all kinds of things. Postpartum depression is a thing, but also the way other people look at you changes or can change. If you're a brilliant actor, it should not. But does that happen? Did it happen to you after Taimur? Do you sometimes think that it could happen?
I think, honestly, I don't know why people out here, maybe in our film industry, they would think like that, because childbirth is also very normal, na? I mean, it's up to me. Like, I mean, one could have a child even at like 23, 24. Don't have to wait for a certain age. So, why should age matter? It really doesn't matter that if I've had a child or not. The way you look at me in a particular part, if you think I suit the part and I look good enough or I look sexy enough, why should it matter like if I have, a child? Why must I be put in that box, that no, this one is better because she doesn't have a child? I don't get that. And I think that's a poor mindset to have. And if people really think like that, it's sad. And I'm hoping that they don't think like that now. Like certain directors and actors and producers, they don't. So I think I'm hoping that there are changes. There are changes now in the industry. People are changing. I think actors, like whether it's Vidya or Kangana or even look at Alia at such a young age is choosing some brave roles. Like she did a Highway, she did an Urta Punjab. So like whether it was me doing an Urta Punjab or choosing parts that are different. I think now us women are kind of, pulling it
Coming
together.
into our own. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
agree. I
think
can see the change. Yeah. So the other question was also interesting. It's a different question, but it was about, how you want to raise your son, and how are you going to get Taimur to not become a victim of those masculine stereotypes, right? Because the point is, we talk so much about women and sexism, but we don't talk about the pressure on boys to be a certain way. And there's a lot of pressure on boys to be a certain way. And your poor boy is already the subject of so much media intensity that to keep him real, grounded, and sensitive, and feminist, and liberal, it would be like crazy. Like it's like a full project.
yeah, it's a project, but he's going to grow up seeing what his parents do, seeing what his parents emulate, seeing what we are, keeping him in that atmosphere and that hope, that this is the way he is, the way Saif is so liberal, Saif is so, open-minded. He doesn't,
Yeah.
there's no box that you can really put him in. And I think the same
Yeah.
with me. He's seeing like his mother go to work. Like I tell him now also that, my tummy's so big. Look at me. So then he's asking me, "Well, where are you going?" So I'm like, "But I'm going for shooting." So he's like, trying to figure. I said, "Yeah, because, Amma likes to work and I go to work so that, you're also happy and we all can stay happy together and we can do like fun things. So I'm going to come home soon." So he now understands. So like he comes to the door and he'll be like, "Yeah, okay, bye Amma, bye Abba." He's
Yeah.
understood that. So I'm not kind of drilling it in his head that, this is what it is or this is the way you have to be. He has to figure it out and see that this is it. I mean, it's a working mother. I don't need to tell him that, that you have to be a feminist or I want you to be a feminist. He's going to see his mother's actions. That is, I think, greater than, words.
No, I agree with that so much that, I think if you grow up as a child of a working mom, the way you look at women when you are older is totally different than if you grew up as the child of a woman who's maybe because of circumstances and unfulfilled dreams being compelled to be a homemaker and not being able to pursue a professional passion. And I just think it's so important for women to work. I saw a question about mommy regrets, but I don't even know if I want to pick it up because guys don't get asked these questions. Like if I was interviewing Saif instead of you, I wouldn't say to him, "Oh, do you have daddy regrets?" And so do you get those annoying questions? Do you get those annoying
Yeah,
questions about like somewhere where you're expected to feel guilty and like you're like, why should I feel guilty? I don't feel guilty. I love my work.
yeah, of course, but women are, no, because
Yeah,
women who are,
exactly.
that's just the way it is. But like I said, Barkha, no, not really trying to prove a point or anything. Doing exactly what I want and hoping that, my children will see me that this is the way she is. And we've always seen Amma work and we've always seen her come home and still give us that time and love and attention.
Yeah.
They will grow up respecting and loving women just, like that, like seeing their father also,
Yeah.
Saif helping me out so much.
Is he a hands-on dad?
I think he's an amazing father, and he's also been father to different age groups. So he kind of has that sensibility.
Only
Yeah,
you could say that.
yeah, but he has because his daughter 25,
Father to
son is,
different age groups.
yeah. So
But well said and true.
yeah, and he's learned a lot, and he's kind of grown with each. I think with each child, I think that's how it should be. That the parent should grow, and I think he's an amazing father, like to whether it's Sarah or Ibrahim, and now to Taimur. From I think he oscillates, he changes, and he becomes that particular person when he's either giving advice about university to Ibrahim or he's talking about movies to his daughter, or they're discussing like they love discussing history or art. And then when it's like coming to talking to Taimur, he's like playing with him or doing his Lego with him. So I think in that way he's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, good for Seth. But I want to, there was another interesting question, which was about why your industry doesn't take more public positions. And obviously, what I want to ask you is, this has been a year when your industry has been under unprecedented scrutiny. I've mostly not agreed with what your industry has been subjected to, but somewhere I feel that you all have had to pay a price for your being very, some of you being very darpoke earlier. कि कुछ मत बोलो. You're not obviously in that mold, but a lot of your friends, colleagues are कि मुंह मत खोलो, we'll get into trouble. Now, what this year has shown, with the entire nepotism debate, with what happened with the tragedy of Sushant, is that whether or not you open your mouth, if somebody wants to come after you, somebody wants to run a campaign, they will. Now, I remember I was talking to you about nepotism, and what you said really stayed with me. You were like, look, I'm never going to have a story as good as a person who came with 10 rupees in his jape to Bombay, but in the end, the audience decides my fate. Right? So, when you look at this whole debate, what do you say on it? And do you feel that the industry needs to speak up more and be a little more mupat? Otherwise, you will be bullied?
No, I think whether you say or you don't say, I think the industry's anyway, it's been a year and industry's anyway becoming like the softest target. So I think whether you say something, you're, going to get brickbats. Whether you don't say something, you're going to get brickbats.
Yeah.
Whether you're too honest.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there must have been certain people who didn't like the nepotism comment. There were certain who appreciated that. So I feel that, each to its own. I feel if actors don't really want to speak up also, it's understandable, because look at the kind of trolling that is happening. And for no reason,
Yeah.
we're spreading hatred and negativity into an industry that is actually an entertainment industry.
Yeah.
We're here to entertain our people and our fans. We're not here to spread hate and negativity, and I don't know, this perception that there is about the industry. It's heartbreaking, because it's not like that. Where there are so many dreams that are made here. There are so many aspirations. Look at it, the kind of people that have come here and built their homes, their dreams, their legacies. Yeah, I mean, like, please. I mean, it's just for I think hundreds of years. From when Prithvi Raj Kapoor came, he was also nobody. Raj Kapoor and all also, they were nobody. I mean, so as from a simple family in Lahore, and they built and made their entire legacy here. So we have also come from somewhere and done this. So yahan pe I feel dreams are fulfilled. Why are we trying to bring down actors or bring down this industry, from producers to filmmakers, saying so and so is like this, so and so is like that? Why? I just feel that this has to stop.
Yeah. What's the worst? Sorry, talking about it? You were saying?
Talking about it, I think, fuels it, because people are just commenting. They're just saying things without understanding what actually that particular person is going through. Yeah.
What's the worst trolling that you've gone through, and how have you dealt with it?
So I prefer not to read my comments or anything.
I agree. मैं तो कुछ नहीं पढ़ती. जो लिखना है लिखो, मैं पढ़ूंगी ही नहीं.
Yeah, exactly. How does it matter? I mean, I think that also being a public figure, it's okay. They are.
ठीक है, चलता है. Yeah.
We have to be like that, and actors, I feel, need to be like that. We can't be affected by the trolls.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I have to ask you in the end, I'll take a last question. We have just a couple of minutes left. There was a question from a young woman, if we can bring that up again. What's the one thing that you want to change, if you could, in the industry that would help empower women who maybe will come after you? The one thing you'd like to see shift, right? That maybe for the next generation of Kareena Kapoors, the next generation of actors, could make it different to be a woman in this space.
I think that being like, we discussed so many things about changes in the industry, the pay parity, script choices that people are doing. I just feel that we need more brave actors like us, whether it's, like I mentioned, Kangana, Deepika, Alia, Vidya. I think they're doing amazing work, and they are, breaking the rules, whether it's, a mainstream artist like a Deepika who does a chapak, who has the gumption to say that I will change my face, I will play this acid victim, and I will do it. So we need more brave actors like that. And I have a feeling that we women, like you say, we the women, we are leading the pack, Barkha. We are bringing the change, and we are kind of, standing right there, telling producers and directors, "Ke role chahiye, we want to do this, and we're ready to do it." So, I'm gonna be positive about it that we're already bringing out that change, and it should happen.
Tell me this: what would be your one message to all the young women watching this program?
I would say that, we live in a world where we're constantly looking for, that instant gratification.
Yeah,
Because we're just there. Ye ke even young girls, like 12, 13-year-olds, I know, because I have relatives, I have my sister's daughter, that there's an instant gratification mode. कि photo डाल दिया वो like आने वाला है. I want that to change. I want that instantness to change. I want people to, look deeper into themselves, especially young girls. Look deeper and ask themselves that, is this really what we want? Or can we do
yeah.
better? Is it like everything is going to be on Instagram, everything is going to be on Facebook and social media? Is that time of just having a chat with your mom and telling her what you feel, or your sister or your friend gone?
Yeah.
Or is it just about that like? So I want that to change, because I want, Taimur to also not have this instant kind of thing, this feeling of ke abhi aana chahiye, abhi hona chahiye, which I feel this young generation has kind of gotten used to, which I'm petrified of.
I agree. What does Kareena Kapoor want that she doesn't have?
What she doesn't have. Oh God.
You said what women want. It's the name of your show. What does Kareena Kapoor want that she doesn't have?
What do I have right now? I mean, what more can I ask for? I mean, I'm on
There's
the way
always
to.
more. There's always more.
What that I don't have. Well, I don't have my baby in my arms now. I really want to see him, whether he looks like me or my husband. That's what I want to see right now. That's on my mind.
Okay. Small, achievable ambitions, because you'll know that soon enough. How far are you from delivery, by the way? How far are
I'm
you from
delivering
delivery?
in February.
Okay. Good luck, Kareena. Pleasure talking to you. Please keep being unapologetic, a muphat badass. Please keep getting into trouble. Women who make trouble are the best kind of women. So thank you,
Thank you for
Kareena.
having me. Yes, thank
It's
you,
been
Barkha.
great fun. It's been great fun and really absolutely delightful. Thank you so much. Kareena Kapoor Khan there speaking about what women want on our global town hall. Bye, Kareena. See you later.